What's up, guys? This is the Tsunami Talk podcast. I'm Tommy, and welcome back. I recorded a podcast last night, first one, got like maybe 3 viewers. So, props to me. Big round of applause. Thank you. Today, I know it's a little bit interesting doing 2 days in a row, especially since I kind of drained all NBA and NFL talk yesterday. But I wanted to give some game predictions for these upcoming sports games. NBA and NFL. I haven't touched on many other sports yet, but I think I'm going to stick with this so far. So, hopefully the video for YouTube works this time because it wouldn't export to YouTube for some ungodly reason. So I had no content to post. So, congrats to me. Alright. NBA basketball. Wow. Last night was pretty cool. After the podcast ended, the Knicks beat the Bucks by 20 points. That is ridiculous. I was looking at the game stats, and I couldn't point out a reason why the Bucks lost the game other than their defense. Brook Lopez put up 6 points. Drew put up 8. Dante put up 10. That's all fine and dandy because you have Bobby Portis coming off the bench with 17 points. And then you have Giannis and Chris Middleton putting together 49 points. But the Knicks, wow. Everybody last year was talking about how Julius Randle was a waste of a max contract. I still think he is. But putting up a 30-14 game with 7 assists, I think he's got something to prove. Julius Randle is not an awful basketball player. He's had some problems with turnovers in the past and inconsistency. He's not very smart. He's not a great decision maker, but I think this game, 37 minutes, 29 points, that's not a bad game at all. And Elfrid Payton put up 27 as well. And Elfrid Payton is, I think he's a very underrated basketball player, mostly because of the organization he plays for. And the stats he put up last night were just, they kind of proved my point a little bit. So that's all the games I really wanted to talk about, except for the Pacers, because I was talking about Domantas Sabonis, and he put up another double-double with 19 and 10. So I'm glad I got to. It kind of proved my point again, because I really want Domantas to succeed in this league, because his dad, Arvydas Sabonis, didn't really get the chance to do so. The Suns. Ooh, I gotta talk about the Suns at some point. The Suns are a really good squad. They've got a good group of guys there. I'm looking at the stats right now. The fact that you could have Chris Paul put up 8 points and 12 assists, and you still win by 16 against Sacramento, who was undefeated up to that point. Because Sacramento's got a good group of guys, too. I think they're going to be a playoff team this year with De'Aaron and Buddy Hield and Marvin Bagley and those guys. Especially with Tyrese Halliburton coming off the bench. But, the versatility of this Phoenix Suns basketball team. You have 21 points in 21 minutes from Cam Johnson. Your sixth man is putting up more points than your all-world point guard, Chris Paul. And Devin Booker put up 20. Devin Booker's Devin Booker. You can't argue with those kind of stats. He's a fantastic basketball player. And then you have Mikal Bridges putting up 22 points and 7 rebounds. And then DeAndre Ayton with a double-double, putting up Andre Drummond-like numbers with 11 and 15. Even Frank Kaminsky put up 11 points. This is... the Suns... Look out for the Suns. That's all I gotta say. The Suns got something to prove this year. They really should have made the playoffs last year. I love the Trailblazers and all. And I really think the Trailblazers could have been a dark horse because Dame was showing up in the bubble. But Devin Booker, he was something else in the bubble last year. I think he's going to keep that rolling. Sorry, just taking a quick sip of water. So, predictions for NBA. Let's see. We got Pistons Hawks. I'm taking the Hawks on this. I'm taking the Hawks. I really think that Trae Young is going to be a future MVP. Everybody argues. I get so much, my own family. I was talking to my dad about Josh Allen, and I said last year, Josh Allen, he's going to be a future MVP. My dad doubted me. He told me that Josh Allen was bad, and he wanted him to succeed, but we couldn't see anything. But then Josh Allen comes out this year and plays spectacularly. I feel the same way about Trae Young. I mean, I understand he's never going to be on a defensive team. He's small. His lateral movements, he's always going backwards. But Trae Young could really be a future MVP with that scoring ability. I mean, you look at Allen Iverson, purely a scorer. I mean, he has an underrated defensive ability, but I think he could really be up there. All right, I'm going to stop ranting. Hawks are winning that, but I still think that I think Blake Griffin's going to put up a double-double, 20 and 10. That's my prediction. All right, Grizzlies Nets. Should I save that one for later? Yeah, I'm going to save that one. I'm going to go Nuggets and Rockets. I'm going to talk about the Grizzlies and Nets later. Nuggets, Rockets. Nuggets. I'm going with the Nuggets. Jokic is too good. The Rockets, I mean, they don't have anything to stop Jokic or Jamal Murray. I really don't think so. Let's take a look at this roster real quick. Yeah, Christian Wood isn't going to stop Jokic. I mean, I think Christian Wood is pretty good on defense. I think that Christian Wood is going to hold him to a smaller amount of points. But I do think that Jokic is going to have a great game on the assisting side of the ball. I think Jokic is going to have a similar game to Blake, 20 and 10. 20 and 10, that's my prediction. Who's winning that game? Because the Nuggets, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Nuggets because the big men on the Rockets aren't going to stop Jokic. I mean, skinny Jokic is a new breed of basketball player. All right, Jazz Thunder. I'm going with the Jazz. Donovan Mitchell and our man Rudy Gobert with that new $200 million contract. Congrats to Rudy Gobert for getting the bag. But the Jazz are winning that basketball game. Shea is going to put up 30 points. But Donovan's going to put up 20, and Rudy Gobert's going to have a 15-15 game. You know what? I'm even going to... I could say that... Let's see here. I need to look up the Jazz roster real quick. Utah Jazz, where you at? All right, Utah Jazz. Oh, yeah. Mike Conley's putting up a 25-point game. Mike Conley's is going to have a 25-point game. For sure. It's going to get so bad they're going to have to put Lou Dort on Mike Conley. I'm calling it right now. Mike Conley's going to go off. But I do think the Jazz are winning that basketball game. Now, Trailblazers, Lakers. Yeah, I can't argue with the Lakers. They're just too dominant, man. LeBron, Anthony Davis. That team is just way too good. I think Kyle Kuzma's a lot more efficient now. He's a much better player. But this offseason really did something for him. I think he got humbled a little bit. So, yeah. Lakers by at least 15 points. But I think CJ McCollum is going to drop a really solid game. I think he's going to have 25 points, 7 assists. I know that's really specific, I understand, but leave me alone. Okay. Here we go. Grizzlies and Nets. This is going to be shocking to many people, but I'm really confident with my answer. Spencer Dinwiddie tore his ACL. I'm going with the Grizzlies. I understand that Kyrie and Kevin Durant are so good, but you cannot tell me that Jaren Jackson Jr. isn't going to block 4 shots and Ja Morant's going to drop a 30-point game. There's no way. Kyrie is mediocre at defense. I mean, him on the offensive side of the ball is pretty unstoppable. But Ja Morant, he's a dog. Ja is a dog. Ja is scrappy. He will fight for that ball. I think Ja's going to get 2 steals on Kyrie. But I'm going with the Grizzlies. And I want Triple J to have a double-double. I want him to have a 15-15 game. I think he can put up those kind of numbers. So those are my my tonight games for the NBA. Now, tomorrow's going to be something else. There's a lot of games tomorrow. And some of these are going to surprise you. Timberwolves, okay, so the Wolves and the Clippers, Timberwolves and the Clippers. I am going with the Timberwolves. D'Lo and Cat. I mean, respect to Cat. Everything he's gone through this offseason has been heartbreaking. I've been looking like all over Instagram, all over every major media site for sports. I mean, I feel bad for the dude. But this season is something else for him. I think it means more to him than it has in the past because he wants to win. He wants to win. And I think that his teammates understand his, and this is just based off of face value. I think his teammates understand where he's coming from, and I think his teammates are backing his energy because they feel his grief and they want to win. They have that mentality. Timberwolves are going to be a fighting team this year. I'm calling it now. Timberwolves are winning against the Clippers tomorrow at 10 p.m. Knicks, Cavs, going with the Knicks. If Elfrid Payton plays well, there's no stopping the Knicks. I can't believe I just said that. Cavaliers, I mean, they have a good offensive duo in Darius Garland, Colin Sexton, but those two aren't going to. They can't make up for the lack of a decent small forward. They lost Tristan Thompson. I mean, they have Andre Drummond, I understand, but the Knicks are going to win that basketball game. It's going to be really close, though. I can tell you it's going to be really close. Raptors, Sixers all the way. The Sixers are a good basketball team. Warriors, Pistons. I think they got some energy with the Damian Lee game winner. I think the Warriors are going to beat the Pistons tomorrow night. But I also think the Pistons are going to be a good team this year. I think they're going to start off slow, but they're going to end strong. I think the Pistons are going to go 500. Exactly. 41-41. Oh, wait, no, it's a 72-game season, so 36-36. All right. Celtics, Pacers. They're going to tie the series 1-1. Jason Tatum is going to come back, play well. DeMontis is still going to have a solid game. I think this is the game where the bench is going to pull through. Celtics have an underrated bench squad, and I think that they're going to outplay the Pacers. I think it's going to be at least by 15 points. It's not going to be a close game. Bulls, Wizards. I want the Bulls to win. If you've ever watched KOT4Q, Kenny of the Fourth Quarter, he's a big Bulls fan. He kind of got me on the Bulls, but I want the Bulls to win, but I don't think they will. I think Bradley Beal and Russ are a really good scoring duo, and I think they fit better together than Russ and Harden. I think Russ and Harden in OKC was phenomenal, but I think Russ and Harden in Houston was bad. This is why. I think that because in OKC, James Harden had a completely different role on the basketball team. James Harden was a second, like he was a third option off the bench. He was a really good scorer, really good defender. He was a really good 3-and-D player, but he was a lot less ball dominant. He knew his role. It was now of course he's one of the best players in basketball. So clearly he's allowed to have that kind of usage rate where he's taking the ball 50% of the time during the game. But back in OKC, it fit better with Russ because Russ at that time was an established basketball player, and you knew that Russ was going to put up 20 points per game. And KD, you knew he was going to put up 20 points per game. So I think that the Wizards are going to win this because Bradley Beal, although he did score a lot last year, you'd be surprised he didn't have that much of a negative impact on everybody else's usage rates because he was scoring, but he was scoring efficiently. So he wasn't like throwing up 17 3-pointers a game like James Harden. He's going to fit better with Russ, and I'm just saying it right now. Bucks Heat are winning that game. The Bucks, something's wrong with them right now. Something's wrong with the Bucks right now. I don't know what the problem is, but the Heat are going to come back to the Eastern Conference Finals for sure. I think they're probably going to be playing the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. That's my guess for right now, but I might have to change my words after that. Magic Thunder winning that basketball game. Shea is just gonna totally overpower the entirety of the Magic roster. I think he's gonna outscore all the starters. That's a really, really strong guess, but I think just based on points alone, he's gonna outscore all the starters. Shea is a beast. I'm just gonna scroll right through it. Pelicans Suns. Ooh, Pelicans Suns. Would it be bad to think they'd go into overtime? I think they're going to go into overtime, and I really feel like the Suns are going to come out on top. It's going to go into overtime. I have a feeling. I feel it in my bones that they're going to go to overtime. The Suns are going to win. If the Suns don't win, then I don't know what I'll do. I love both those teams, though, but I really think the Suns are going to win. All right, moving on. Nuggets Kings. I'm going with the Kings. And last but not least, I want to talk about Wednesday's game. Hornets Mavs. I know I'm not going to be talking about any of the other games on Wednesday, but I think the Mavericks clearly are going to win the game. But the reason I wanted to bring it up is because I think that's going to be LaMelo's breakout game. LaMelo's going to break out on Wednesday, December 30th at 8:30 p.m. Watch out. All right, done with the NBA. NFL time. Week 17. First of all, recap of what happened yesterday. Cowboys demolished the Eagles. Panthers beat Washington, which means that the Cowboys still have a chance at the playoffs. Steelers beat the Colts. Talked about that in yesterday's podcast. Chargers beat the Broncos. Justin Herbert. I needed that because Justin Herbert is my fantasy quarterback, and I would prefer it if he succeeded. Packers blew out the Titans, which was kind of surprising to me because I know Aaron Rodgers is fantastic, but I really thought that maybe Derrick Henry would have had a 130-yard rushing game, at least a touchdown. But Ryan Tannehill did really well on the ground. But him in the passing game was just horrendous. But Aaron Rodgers, 4 touchdowns on only 21 passes. Ridiculous. A.J. Dillon. Fantastic. And then Aaron Jones on 10 carries, 94 yards. 9.5 yards per carry. That's ridiculous. And then Devontae Adams has one of the best receiving games of the season, of course. It's Devontae Adams. Tonight, Bills Mafia plays the Pats. If you'd be stupid if you chose the Pats in this game. Josh Allen is an elite level quarterback in this league. He's a top 5 quarterback right now, and you can't change my mind. Patriots, their passing game is too weak. Their rushing game is too weak. Their offense is too weak. Their offensive play calling is fine. That's not the problem. It's just they don't have playmakers. They have a guy who came off of surgery over the summer who was looking for something to prove himself, but he just didn't have that kind of ability. I mean, he had games where he had under 100 passing yards and he threw the ball more than some of the other guys that were throwing for 300. You can't be having that. But I think it'll be closer because the Patriots defense is still an elite level defense, so you still have to worry about that, but Bills are winning that football game. Also, congrats to the Bills for winning the AFC East. First time that the Pats have lost the AFC East in who knows how long. Well, someone knows how long. I just don't have the stats up right now. Week 17, Vikings-Lions. Lions are winning. Matthew Stafford is incredible. They're just a god-awful football team with terrible management and terrible coaching. Matthew Stafford is stuck on the worst management team in the NFL. He could have been an MVP by now if he was playing on a better developmental staff. If he was with the Chargers, he could have taken Philip Rivers' spot 5 years ago. But that's just me. Falcons-Bucks. The Falcons played pretty well last week, but I'm going with the Bucks because Tom Brady's unstoppable. Jets-Patriots. I'm going with the Jets. I'm going with the New York Jets. You heard it here first. I just want Sam Darnold to throw 3 touchdowns. That would be so funny to me. Dolphins-Bills. I might take the Dolphins on this. I want them to win. Because if they win, they make the playoffs. I'm pretty sure they're making the playoffs anyways, but there's a chance they don't. I want the Dolphins to win. The Bills probably have a higher probability of winning, but if I had to bet, I would put maybe $100 on the Dolphins because I think they're going to show up that night. I mean, if they put Fitzmagic in for a couple of plays, unstoppable. Steelers-Browns. I want the Browns. The Steelers are probably going to bench some of their better players just to keep them healthy for the playoffs. I don't think Big Ben should not be playing. He should not be playing, but he's probably going to play anyways. Cowboys-Giants. I want the Cowboys. The Cowboys are winning that game. I mean, I don't need to explain myself. I'm moving on. Ravens-Bengals. Ravens are winning. Lamar Jackson's on a tear during December. On January 3rd, January 3rd is not going to be any different. He is going to rush for at least 75 yards. Jaguars-Colts. Jaguars are terrible. Which, it just upsets me that they're terrible, but they are terrible. Titans-Texans. You got to go with the Titans. I love Derrick Henry. Ryan Tannehill. A.J. Brown's on my fantasy team, so I love A.J. Brown. I love A.J. Brown. He has saved me when he came back from an injury this season. But moving on. Oh yeah, Corey Davis is also on my fantasy team, but I don't start him because A.J. Brown usually gets better numbers. Cardinals-Rams. Give me the Cardinals. Give me the Cardinals. The Cardinals need this game to be respected, I think. Everybody was talking about Kyler Murray at the beginning of the year because they were 5-2, but they've kind of died down. They've simmered out. Kyler Murray needs this game to get his respect. For sure. Saints-Panthers, no question. Saints. I like the Teddy Bridgewater, Drew Brees rivalry there. I think that'll be a good game. I think Teddy B's got something to prove to the Saints organization, but the Saints are coming out on top. Alvin Kamara is going to have a fantastic game, for sure. And I don't know if Christian McCaffrey is going to be back. But if he's not, I think Mike Davis is going to pop off. Mike Davis is a starting running back for 90% of the teams in the league. Mike Davis on the Patriots would be ridiculous. They need him. I mean, Damian Harris is pretty good, though. He's been playing pretty well. Packers, Packers for sure. Trubisky's not going to keep up this momentum. Everybody's talking about, they put up 30 or more points against the last 4 teams. The last 4 teams, the best defense they played against was the Vikings. And then, maybe Detroit. No way. They played Jacksonville. Yeah, I'm taking the Packers. Trubisky's thrown 3 interceptions. That might be a little too bold. Chargers, Chiefs. I got the Chargers because the Chiefs are definitely not starting Patrick Mahomes. No chance. No chance. Niners, Seahawks on top. It's my Niners, but I don't believe that's possible. Raiders, Broncos. I want the Broncos, but I'm picking the Raiders because Derek Carr. Derek Carr is good, but I wouldn't say he's underrated because people don't give him credit he deserves, but he's not. It's not so much the point that he's underrated, because I feel like underrated is a little too strong of a term for that. I just feel like he's maybe a little underrated, just he's almost at that point. Yeah, that's what I'll say. And then lastly, we got Washington and the Eagles, the football team versus Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is winning. Washington's team, they can't hold up with Jalen Hurts. His multifaceted gameplay, his rushing and passing ability, the fact that on the ground he's probably even more dangerous than he is throwing the ball, and his throwing ability is underrated too. I might have a whole episode dedicated to Jalen Hurts and Justin Herbert, and honestly, I'll just have a rookie episode at some point, probably. I'll do a rookie recap or something. Eagles are winning that game. I think it might be a little close, though. So, those are my game predictions. That's all I've got. I've got nothing else. So thank you guys for listening. I had a lot of fun tonight. I know it's kind of weird for a podcaster to post 2 days in a row, but I was feeling a little motivated after yesterday. So thank you guys so much for listening in, and I will see you later. Peace.